And is this picking me up? Okay. If your cell phone is on, please turn it off. We can't have cell phones ringing in court. Good evening. My name is Scott Dirks, and I'm the municipal judge for the city of Stoughton, the towns of Dunkirk, Pleasant Springs, and Rutland. The city of Stoughton, I hope, will appear this evening by attorney Isaac Brodkey. I imagine he's running a little late. He comes down from Madison. Before I begin calling any of your cases, I want to go over some of the procedures we'll follow tonight and some of your rights as defendants. And here's Mr. Brodkey. Those procedures are also set forth on the form that was made available to you as you entered the courtroom. First, this hearing is for initial appearances on the citations you received. This is not the time for a trial or telling me your side of what happened. When your case is called, please come up to the podium and remember to speak clearly. These proceedings are being recorded, so you need to answer any questions verbally, not by simply nodding your head. Tonight, I will ask you to enter a plea to the citation you were issued. Your plea options are not guilty, no contest, or guilty. A plea of guilty means you admit you did whatever it is you're charged with doing. A plea of no contest means that while you do not admit doing anything unlawful, you do not wish to contest the matter. In either of those situations, I will find you guilty. I will then review the facts of your case, and you'll get a chance then to tell me anything you may want to tell me about the case, and I will impose a forfeiture. A forfeiture is a money penalty that can be anywhere from $20,000 to $10,000, though the vast majority will be in the range of $50 to $200. I'm also required to impose court costs, which will increase the total amount you must pay. I will automatically give you 30 days to pay your forfeiture. If you think you're going to need more time than that, please let me know right away, and we will set up a payment plan for you before you leave the building. Failure to timely pay your forfeiture can result in suspension of your driver's license or referring the matter for debt collection. If you plead not guilty, I will schedule your case for a pretrial conference with the city attorney. At that time, you can discuss your case with him and see if your case can be resolved without a trial. If it can't be resolved, I will schedule the matter for trial. You do have the right to an attorney to represent you in your case, but you must retain that attorney on your own. The Public Defender's Office will not represent you in these cases. You also have the right to ask me for a continuance of your case if you need to consult with an attorney or for some other reason. Any of you who are charged with operating while intoxicated or a related offense have the right to a jury trial in circuit court in Madison. However, if you want a jury trial, you must post jury fees within 10 days of the date of your plea. Trials on all other offenses will be heard by me. You will have the right to appeal any decision I make in your case. Those of you who are charged with a traffic offense should bear in mind that in addition to having to pay a forfeiture if you are found guilty, the Division of Motor Vehicles may also impose demerit points against your license. If 12 or more points are assessed against your license in any 12-month period, your driving privileges will be suspended for a period of time. And if you hold a probationary license, those points may be doubled. Finally, if your address changes at any time while your case is pending, you must notify the court in writing within 5 days of such a change. And I'll call the first case. Richard Wolf. Mr. Wolf, can you make it up to the podium there? Can you make it up to the podium there?
In the speaker?
Yes, please. Or bailiff, maybe we can just let him sit at council. There you go. Great.
And Your Honor, and maybe this is a question more for Mary. I don't believe that I have the citation in front of me.
Do you have all the other ones?
I have. It looks like it's through. The last name beginning with the letter N.
Ooh.
It's Wolf. That,
WOLF.
because you have a copy of what everything that the judge has, so you should have it.
Yeah, WOLF. Yeah, I don't have that. I have A through N.
Okay.
And then while we figure that out,
Sure.
Your Honor, I wanted to mention too, with me at council table is Attorney Stephen Getch, who's, I primarily will do the pre-trials and everything, but Mr. Getch is here in court as well.
Okay, is he going to be appearing for the city tonight, or are you?
I will be, Your Honor.
Okay.
I'll take it to my office and add that.
Mr. Wolf, can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you still living on Hanson Road in
Yes,
Stoughton?
yes, sir.
You are charged with criminal damage to property. Do you understand what that means?
Wow, that was kind of stupid.
Well, we're not going to go into the facts of the case right now, but do you understand what you're charged with?
Yeah,
You're charged with intentionally causing damage to somebody else's property
yeah, I know.
without their permission.
Yeah, I know.
All right. And how do you wish to plead?
Guilty.
You understand that by pleading guilty, I will find you guilty.
I don't know. I don't
You don't what?
understand.
Okay. A plea of guilty means that you admit having done what you're charged with, in this case, criminal damage to property. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
So if you plead guilty, I will find you guilty.
Well, if I plead not guilty,
Well,
still gonna cost me any way you look at it.
okay. Mr. Brodkey, I assume the city doesn't have an offer to make to the defendant at this point.
Your Honor, I do not have the citation in front of me. If it is, I believe I heard you correctly, that is a criminal damage to property citation. I'm curious if there's restitution, but beyond that,
No, there is no
there's no
request.
restitution.
There's no request for restitution.
Your Honor, based off of what the defendant has alluded to about not being sure about guilty or not guilty, I think that it's probably prudent to have a pretrial conference with
Sure.
with the defendant.
All right. Mr. Wolf, what I'm going to do is I'm going to enter a plea of not guilty on your behalf. And as soon as my clerk gets back, we'll give you in writing a pretrial conference date on August 21st, so you can talk to Mr. Brodkey over the phone, this gentleman right here, about perhaps resolving the case without a trial. Okay?
When I need a trial.
So just hang on a couple of minutes till my clerk comes back.
Your Honor, do you mind if I have a short sidebar
No,
with
go
the
ahead.
defendant?
So, because you had mentioned that you weren't sure about what it meant to be guilty.
Do you want to turn the mic off, maybe?
Oh, I know you.
It would make sense for us to have a conversation in a couple of weeks. Talk about that.
No problem.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Let me turn your mic back on.
Uh-oh. Now I can't open
Sorry
mine.
about that. What was that?
I can't open mine now.
Yeah, there's something going on with. Here, I can get you back.
Okay.
There's a different place. This Google is really.
We've got new
Part-time.
software. Sorry.
There it is.
All right, are we good now?
Yes.
Excellent, thank you. All right, so Madam Clerk, Mr. Wolf needs a pretrial date.
Okay. August 21st.
Mr. Brodkey, do you have everything now?
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, excellent. Thank you. So, Mr. Wolf, you need to contact Mr. Brodkey by phone on the date and time listed on that sheet. If you do not, he's going to assume that you do not intend to contest the matter anymore, and then when the case is next called, in all likelihood, you'll be found guilty. So if you want to try to get this resolved without any more court appearances, you need to call Mr. Brodkey at the date and time you've got there, okay? Any questions?
2 weeks,
I think it's about 4 weeks.
4 weeks.
It says the date.
August 21st.
Okay.
Okay? All right, then you can go. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Peggy McClellan. Ms. McClelland, is your last name spelled MC capital CLELLAND?
That's correct.
And you still live on Courseview Road in Stoughton?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay. You have 2 citations here tonight. The first is for hit and run of property adjacent to a highway. Do you understand what that means?
Yes,
Means that you hit some property that was adjacent to the highway and you did not attempt to make contact with the owner of that property. You're also charged with making an improper left turn. There are a number of ways where that could happen, but basically it means you made a left turn where you were not supposed to. Do you understand that?
yes, sir, I do.
And how do you wish to plead?
I have no contest. I'm
Okay.
hoping I'm saying the correct thing.
Okay,
Um,
well, does the city have an offer for Ms. McClelland?
Your Honor, the city does not have an offer, but the city would ask for a very brief sidebar to ask her a question about the citation.
That's fine, and for what it's worth, there's no request for restitution.
Your Honor, the city is not inclined to amend either of the citations.
Okay, So, Ms. McClellan, do you understand that if you plead no contest, I will find you guilty of both of those citations?
Yes, sir, I do.
All right. I'll accept your plea. I will find you guilty. I just want to review the report here to see if
I
there's
have
a factual
something.
basis
Okay.
for your plea. Ms. McClelland, it looks as though there may have been alcohol involved in this incident. Is there anything you want to tell me about this incident before I pass sentence?
The only thing I can say is that I had just received information that my husband was terminal on that day. He has since passed away June 23rd. I am probably going to go back to driving truck. And if there's a demerit, if there's points like that, it makes it very difficult for me to do that. And I was not left enough money that I don't have to work.
Okay, well, first of all, I'm very sorry about your husband.
Thank you.
But secondly, there are demerit points that will be assessed against your license from both of these, well, from one of the citations. The improper left turn is a 3-point ticket.
Can I take a driving class or driving school so that that does not go against me?
Mr. Brodkey?
Your Honor, based off the circumstances that based off of the police report, I'm not really inclined for leniency in this case with respect to a driving class or something of that nature. If the court would, excuse me, if the court wants to have a sentencing hearing or something to that effect, the city would argue consistent with that position, I believe.
Okay. The answer to your question about a driving class is that's between you and the Division of Motor Vehicles. I don't know if you can do a point reduction class under the circumstances. That's not really something that I have any control over. I don't have any discretion on that or not. As far as the points being assessed, I don't do that. That's Department of Transportation does that.
Okay.
But, as I said, it appears from my brief review of the police reports here that, and I understand you were upset and all of that, but it appears to at least one of the witnesses the police talked to that you'd been drinking perhaps before you were involved in this crash.
Yes, sir.
I don't know that.
It
And
was.
you weren't arrested for operating while intoxicated, so for purposes of this hearing, I have to assume that you were not. However, I think the city's position is reasonable, given all the circumstances, and with respect to the improper left turn citation, I will impose a forfeiture and costs totaling $98.80. With respect to the hit and run, I'll impose a forfeiture and costs totaling $187. Do you need more than 30 days to pay that?
No, can I pay it today?
Sure. We'll give you information on how to do that.
I have information on a class too that you can contact
Okay.
them to see if they
And
can-
we're going to give you information on possible point reduction classes, but again, that's not up to me. That's up to DOT,
Okay.
Oh, sorry, this is it, sorry. Give that to you.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you. All right, Daniel Zier. Mr. Zier, is your last name spelled Z-E-I-E-R?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you still live on Wisconsin Street in McFarland?
Yes, sir.
You're charged with speeding on a public highway between 11 and 15 miles per hour over the posted limits. Does the city have an offer?
Yes, Your Honor. The city is willing to amend the citation to 1 to 10 miles per hour over, and the forfeiture cost being the same.
Okay. What that means, Mr. Zier, is right now, the citation you received would result in 4 demerit points against your license. If I accept the amendment that the city is offering, that would result in a 3-point citation. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
The standard, if you will, forfeiture and costs for this citation is $98.80. Given all of that, how do you wish to plead?
I plead no contest.
All right. I'll accept your plea. I'm just reviewing the citation for a factual basis here. I will find a factual basis. I will find you guilty. I'll impose a forfeiture and costs totaling $98.80. Do you need more than 30 days to pay that?
No, I could pay today.
Okay. We'll give you a copy of the judgment, and that'll give you information on how to pay.
Sounds good. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good day.
All right, Chad Painter. Mr. Painter, is your last name spelled P-A-Y-N-T-E-R?
Yes.
And you still live on Hancock Lane in Evansville?
Yes, I do.
You're charged with 2 counts of trespass to land. That means that you were on somebody else's property without their permission, and that you did so intentionally. Do you understand that?
Yes.
And does the city have an offer?
Your Honor, I've read through one of the police reports. The city right now does not have an offer.
Okay. So, Mr. Painter, how do you wish to plead to these citations?
No contest.
Okay, do you understand that if you plead no contest, I will find you guilty?
Yes.
Okay. I just want to review the reports here to see if there's a factual basis. All right, Mr. Painter, I do find a factual basis for the violations, and I will find you guilty. Is there anything you want to tell me prior to me imposing sentence?
Yes, I guess I just wanted to kind of explain the situation why I was there. We had called, I was there to pick up a prescription for my wife and me the second time. We called the pharmacy 3 different times in 2-week span of time to try to get our medicine prescriptions moved to Walgreens. kept getting the runaround, kept getting the runaround. Well, we have whatever. It didn't come about. They never got him transferred. Well, we ran out of the medicine, and we have I don't know what it's called, an ASH card, whatever. It's an insurance card that they have on file there that we couldn't find our copy of it, but it's on file there, so we could still pick up the prescriptions there. Well, the long and the short of the situation is, well, we ran out of the prescription. My wife has MS. I have high blood pressure and stuff. I kind of got put between a rock and a hard place. It was either go there and pick it up and be in violation of that, or, I was kind of stuck. And that is why. And then on the other part of it, I just wanted to say I was there once and nothing was ever said about it, and picked up the prescription and left. And then when the officer stopped me that time, he gave me a second ticket, said I was there 2.5 weeks ago picking up a prescription, which I was. I fully said, yes, I was. Wasn't trying to hide anything. Walked in, picked it up, and left. Well, okay, in that 2.5 weeks, no one could have gave me a ticket. I mean, so what I'm saying is, I wouldn't have got the second ticket if somebody would have gave me the first ticket to start with. I mean, I'm dumb, not that dumb. So that's what I got to say about it. And we thought about trying to move it out by calling the doctor, and that wouldn't work because of whatever that insurance card is that I was telling you. It cannot, she called it into Walgreens Forest. That's how we got this set. But without that card on file, we had to get a replacement card. Without that card on file, our copays were ridiculous. It's like $387 or something to that effect, which I didn't have at the time to pay for it. So that's it, and I'm just looking for a little leniency, I guess.
Mr. Brodke, what's the city's position?
Your Honor, I think that there are some factual complexities here. I think that based off of what Mr. Painter has said, it does seem that it would make sense to have a pre-trial conference to discuss some of this. That said, if he wishes to forego that and just be sentenced today, then the city would be amenable to reducing the fines. I think that in total it's $626, if my math is correct. I think that we could reduce it to 400 even.
I don't know if I can do that.
But right, but then we need to take out the sheet to make sure that works for the court costs.
All right, this is what I'll do. On each of them, I'm going to impose a forfeiture and costs totaling $187. So that's less than $400 total. It's a city.
No objection, Your Honor.
Okay. Are you going to need more than 30 days to pay that, sir?
Nope, I'll pay it in 30 days.
Okay. Just hang on a second. We'll give you a copy of the judgment. So just so you're clear, it appears to me that Walmart is saying you and your wife both may not be on those premises until February of 2026.
Yeah, I got it.
Well, just so you're clear on
Yep.
that, because that apparently hasn't gone away yet.
No, I
Okay,
totally, I'm 100% telling you, I was there. These were the circumstances.
sure. Okay, well, you know what you have to do then. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ryan Bednarik.
The yellow highlight means that he's required to take a class.
Right.
Advantage just started doing that.
Thank you. Mr. Bednarik, is your last name spelled Bednarek?
Yes, it is.
And you still live on Morris Street in Pewaukee?
Yes, sir.
All right. You're charged with failure to stop at a stop sign. Do you understand what that means?
Yes, I do.
Means you didn't stop at a stop sign when you were supposed to. Does the city have an offer? This is a case where he would be required to take a driver's class.
Your Honor, the city would be amenable to changing to failure to obey officer sign signal, which I do not believe requires a right-of-way class.
Let me just make sure. I think you're right, but let me just be sure about that. Failure to obey a traffic officer, is that what you're suggesting?
I think that there's one. Let me, if I can pull up the bail bond
Yep,
book.
please do. Yep, Mr. Bednarik, some fairly recent legislation that was passed requires that for certain what they call right-of-way violations, and this would have been one of them, the defendant, after having been convicted, has to attend a right-of-way safety school, and if you don't, then your license is suspended for 5 years. I assume you'd prefer to avoid that.
Yeah, that would be, you'd be right on that one.
All right. Yeah.
Amended to when he stopped.
Mr. Brodkey, do you know what statute number you're looking at?
Yes, Your Honor, I'm getting it right now.
Okay.
So, Your Honor, I looked into it this week. I think that there's like a couple different ways, there's a couple different statutes that essentially have the same name in short, but I'm curious if we can amend it to Wisconsin statute 346.04 sub 1, and whether that would eliminate the requirement for the right-of-way class.
I believe it does. So, Mr. Brodkey, do you understand what the offer from the city is?
For me, not fully, no.
Okay.
Does that, maybe you can describe it a little bit further?
Sure. So, as I said, right now you're charged with failing to stop at a stop sign, and that is one of the violations where you're required to take a driver's safety class before you can, well, you'll have your license, but if you don't do it within a certain period of time, your license gets suspended for 5 years.
Okay.
What Mr. Brodkey, the city, is suggesting is that I amend the citation to allege that you failed to obey a signal from an officer, so a traffic officer. Like say, you know, if they had their emergency lights on and you didn't pull over right away, something like that.
Yeah.
If I amended to that and you were to plead guilty or no contest to that, then you don't have to take that class. I would still impose a forfeiture, but you won't have to worry about that class. Is that your understanding, Mr. Brodkey?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So what would you like to do? How do you wish to plead?
I guess I also have a question is, are there points associated with that, or
Yes.
how does that work?
That would still be a 3-point violation.
Okay.
You've got a 3-point violation that you're faced with right now,
Right. I would like to plead not guilty then, please.
okay? We'll give you a pretrial conference date.
August 21st.
Yeah, it'll be on August 21st, but you can do this, you will do this by phone. If you may have heard me tell somebody else this, if you don't call Mr. Brodkey at the date and time we're going to give you, we're all going to assume that you've changed your mind and you don't wish to contest the matter anymore, and then when the case is next called, I'll find you guilty and impose a forfeiture.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
So, no, this is fine. If you've got questions about anything, it's far better that you talk to Mr. Brodkey about it.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right. Okay, thank you. Next up, Judith Krupski.
I'm her husband, Your Honor.
I'm sorry?
I'm her husband. She's babysitting our grandkids.
Well, you can't represent her unless you're a lawyer.
It says she doesn't need to appear on the citation.
Right, but I can't allow you to appear on her behalf unless you're a licensed attorney in the state of Wisconsin. That's the law.
He has the registration, updated information, he showed me that.
Okay. Mr. Brodkey, do you want to talk to the gentleman, please?
Yeah.
So, the citation was for expired registration.
Yep.
Right, so I've since rectified it.
Okay.
All right. The vehicle was inoperable for over a year.
Sure.
We apparently lost the fuel.
No, it's because I seen before we were going to get out of here.
Really, that's true, it's your fault.
So,
Brodkey.
Your Honor, certainly Mr. Krupski cannot represent his wife. However, he has informed me that he is essentially a courier and had brought this to the court on behalf of his wife or what have you. And I see no difference from that to the wife, Ms. Krupski, just mailing it to Mary. Based off these documents, it does look like that the vehicle is registered again.
Okay, so what's the city's motion?
So, Your Honor, the city moves to dismiss the citation.
And I will order it dismissed then.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Give your wife the good news.
Will do. Thank you very much.
Oh, hang on, we'll give you a copy of the judgment.
Thank you. Thank you, Your
All
Honor.
right, thank you. Thanks for being patient. And Randall Fraser. Did I pronounce your name correctly, sir?
Excuse me?
Did I pronounce your name
Yes.
correctly? Okay. Mr. Fraser, your last name is spelled F-R-A-S-E-R?
Yes,
And do you still live on Rose Street in Stoughton?
yes,
Mr. Fraser, you're charged with hit and run of an unattended vehicle. That means that you struck a vehicle that didn't have anybody inside of it, and you didn't stop to try to make contact with the owner of the vehicle. Does the city have an offer? There's no request for restitution.
Thank you, Your Honor. The city does not have an offer at this time.
All right? Mr. Fraser, how do you wish to plead?
no contest, but could I just explain
hang
what
on.
happened that day?
Do you understand if you plead no contest, I
understand.
will find
Yes,
you
I do.
guilty?
Yes, I do.
Do you understand this is also a 6-point violation?
Yes, I do.
All right. If you want to plead no contest, I will find you guilty. I just want to review the reports to see if there's a factual basis. right. Mr. Fraser, I will find a factual basis, and I will accept your plea and find you guilty. Is there anything you'd like to tell me?
Well, on the day of the incident, well, a few months back, I had to quit work because of health problems. And my wife had to go to the emergency room and get her eye looked at. I spent about 3 hours in there, totally exhausted. And during that time, I got the call from the VA for my test results, and it was stage 2 cancer. So I was a little bit upset that day, and a lot of things on my mind. I backed into someone's car. I admit that because it happened. I didn't realize I did it. Otherwise, I would have left my information because of a valid license, insurance, and everything. But I didn't know I did it. My mind was not in that right place that day.
I understand, and I hope that your health situation improves. Was there any damage to your vehicle?
It's just a little scratch in the bumper, plastic bumper.
Right. Mr. Brodkey, what's the city's position?
Your Honor, I think that, like in other instances, if it seems like he is contesting to some extent culpability. The city's not willing to amend the forfeiture amount or amend the citation itself at this stage. However, the city doesn't object to just setting this over for a pretrial where me and the defendant can talk in greater detail about the situation.
The defendant has a substantial prior record of traffic violations. Mr. Fraser, do you understand what Mr. Brodkey's saying?
Not really.
Okay. He's suggesting that perhaps I find you pleading not guilty today so that you can call him up a month from now and see if the two of you can work something out, perhaps an amended charge or something like that. Because you've already been to traffic safety school once. I don't know if 6 points against your license would get you a suspension or not. That's
Basically, it doesn't. I don't drive anymore. Sold my car. I'm done driving.
Well,
So.
do you want to resolve this tonight right away?
Well, if I get a little bit reduced, because I'm $2,000 behind in rent because I had to quit work, denied unemployment because Wisconsin don't allow you to collect unemployment while you're on SSDI.
Right.
So that put me $2,000 behind in rent.
All right.
And I just live on my disability.
So, Your Honor, if I may.
Sure.
Your Honor, based off of the defendant's financial condition, the city is agreeable to reducing the forfeiture to $150, or $149.20, I think is what the chart tells us. And we can have that a payment plan. I think my question for the defendant is, what's a reasonable amount to pay a month? I think that 3 months seems to be clean, with about $50 a month.
That would actually work.
That would work?
Okay.
That'd be very helpful.
All right. I will adopt the city's recommendation. I'll find you guilty if that hasn't already been entered. And I will order you to pay a forfeiture and costs totaling $149.20. And we will give you a written copy of the judgment. And I will order you to pay $50 a month until this is paid off. What time of the month is best for you to pay?
I get my SSDI comes in at the 3rd of the month.
The 3rd?
Yes.
Okay.
This on September 1st, we always use the
Okay.
1st.
Then I will order you to make your first payment on September 1st.
Okay.
So that gives you about 6 weeks to make that first payment.
Well, that'd actually give me time to save up a little money too, and
Right.
make a larger payment if I can.
Yep. Okay, just make sure that you do pay it off, otherwise your license gets suspended, and it
Yeah.
sounds like even if you're not driving right now, you may want to do that at some point.
I'm not looking forward to actually doing that, not in my condition right now.
Okay.
It's not looking good. So,
All right.
but thank you, appreciate it.
All right, good luck.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Peter Lynch. Mr. Lynch, is your last name spelled Lynch?
Yes.
Oops. And you still live on Johnson Street here in Stoughton?
That's correct.
Okay. You were cited for operating a motor vehicle without proof of insurance. Do you have proof of insurance with you?
I do.
Could you show it to Mr. Bradkey, please?
Yes.
Okay. So you had insurance at the time, you just didn't have proof on you.
Yeah, I'd shown him the last one. I didn't have this in the car.
Got it. Okay. Your Honor, based off what the defendant has shown me, the city moves to dismiss the citation.
All right, I will order it dismissed. Mr. Lynch will give you a copy of the judgment, and then you're free to go.
Yep, thank you.
Yep, thank you. Luis Alcantara Hernandez.
I don't know if he needs an interpreter. Check when available.
He does need an
I
interpreter?
don't know,
Oh.
I haven't. talked
Sir,
to
do you
him.
need an interpreter?
No, it should be fine.
Pardon?
I'm fine. I
Okay.
don't need it. Thank you.
You speak English okay?
Yeah, most.
Do you understand me okay?
Yep.
All right. Because we can get an interpreter on the phone.
I'm okay.
All right. Just pull your file up here, hang on. Sir, is your last name spelled Alcantara, Alcantara, Hernandez, Hernandez?
Yes, sir.
And you still live on Lilac Lane in Edgerton?
Yep.
All right, you are charged with 3 citations. One is for speeding on a public highway between 20 and 24 miles per hour. Do you understand what that means?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yes, it's correct.
Okay. You're also charged with operating a motor vehicle without a valid driver's license. Do you understand what that means?
Yep.
And you're charged with operating a motor vehicle without proof of insurance. Do you understand what that means?
Yes.
Mr. Bradkey, does the city have an offer for the defendant?
Your Honor, with respect to the driver's license and the insurance citations, the city moves to dismiss those. Mr. Alcantara has provided the city proof of both. And with respect to the speeding citation, I just want to glance through the report for another
Sure.
minute.
All right, well, with respect to the driver's license and insurance citations, I will order those dismissed. We'll hear what Mr. Bradkey has to say about the speeding ticket.
Okay. Probably a very long time ago. Like 6 years.
Your Honor, the city is willing to amend the speeding citation from 20 to 24 miles per hour over to 15 to 19 miles per hour over. That I believe is a 4-point citation. With respect to the forfeiture amount, the city is willing to reduce that to $124.
Sir, is that something that you'd like to do?
How many points? There are 4
4.
points. And yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm okay.
So how do you wish to plead to that amended charge of speeding by 15 miles per hour over the posted limit?
Yeah, I was running late for.
Oh, no.
Oh.
Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
No contest.
Yeah.
Do you understand if you plead no contest, I will find you guilty?
Okay.
All right. Let me just review this for a factual basis.
Is that reduced to 124?
Yep.
124?
Mr. Brodkey, does the city have anything further?
No, Your Honor. I think that Ms. Geisman asked for clarification on the forfeiture, and 124 is our recommendation.
All right. Sir, is there anything you want to tell me before I order a judgment or order a sentence?
No, I'm okay.
All right. Well, then I will impose a forfeiture and costs totaling $124.
Okay.
Do you need more than 30 days to pay that?
No, I can pay today.
Okay. Well, we'll give you information on how to pay that in just a second here.
I got a question.
Shields is the last name.
Okay. And then Ms. Shields?
Yes.
Okay. Karen?
Yes.
Okay. You just pull your file up here. Ms. Shields, is your last name spelled S-H-I-E-L-D-S?
Yes, it is.
And do you still live on South Franklin Street in Stoughton?
Yes.
All right. You're charged with speeding on a public highway 20 to 24 miles per hour over the posted limit. Do you understand what that means?
Yes.
Does the city have an offer for the defendant?
Your Honor, the city is willing to amend the citation of 15 and 19 miles per hour over. That's a 4-point citation. And the forfeiture would be 124.
Do you understand what the city is offering?
Yes. Can I have it dismissed, though?
Well, that's not what they're suggesting. Do you want to have a minute to talk to Mr. Brodkey?
Yeah.
It's well within your rights.
Okay, thanks.
So how do you wish to plead?
Not guilty.
Okay. That's fine. We will give you written notice in just a second here of a pretrial conference with Mr. Brodkey. That'll be on August 21st. You don't have to go see him. You can call him up on the phone.
Okay.
And perhaps the two of you can work something out.
Okay, thanks.
You bet.
That's just a pre-trial?
Yeah.
That's just evidence, right?
One of the attorney lives at.
Yeah, so the pre-trial is like a meeting between you and I before trial. And then at the trial, you present evidence.
4:40,
Talk
yeah,
about
5 o'clock was.
all that.
You'll be here.
All right, so that was your time you call.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have the same conversation.
Yeah, I'm not gonna, unless you change your mind, I'm not changing mine, but.
I will change your mind. You can change your mind.
No, I can't. I think it's fair. So, but we can talk about it if you want, or.
You can't be just a
What was offered was we were just a question of 6 to 4.
No, it's too late.
Okay, well then, we'll try.
Thank you, Ms. Shields.
Thank you.
Okay.
This person updated their registration. Just two before you leave. that-
Sure, who's the defendant?
Solantani?
Catherine or Gerald?
Gerald,
Gerald. City of Stoughton versus Gerald Celentani, Celentani. Non-registration. Mr. Brodkey, I've received a copy of updated registration. The vehicle apparently is now properly registered. I don't know if you got a copy of that.
Your Honor, I'll pull it up. I misunderstood what Mary had said.
Okay.
But if the registration, if the vehicle is not registered, the city's inclined to just dismiss it. If that's
All right. I will order it dismissed then.
this one, she's asking for point reduction. I think that's a speeding.
Hillebrand.
Hillebrand.
All right, City versus Barbara Hillebrand.
Speeding.
Speeding by 15 over. I don't,
That's her
did Mr.
online
Brodkey get a copy of that?
I have a copy of that citation in front of me.
But this is our online
Sure.
plea form, and she's requesting the points.
Okay, Ms. Hillebrand would like to have her points taken away. I will I will enter a plea of not guilty on her behalf and set it over for a pretrial to talk to the city. And we can mail her notice.
Okay, yes.
We'll mail her notice.
All right. That's it.
Any others? All right, so before you take off, Mr. Brodkey, Mr. Hammis has another citation for operating after suspension where he was ordered to make an initial appearance today. As I'm sure, Mr. Brodkey, you know, he had a number of other matters that was scheduled for 6 o'clock today because of a family matter. He's asked to have those cases continued to next month. Given the circumstances, I'm okay with that.
Yes, Your Honor, and I believe that there was also a pretrial that will be reset. It seems to me that it'd make most sense if we could just get all of that on one day.
Yep. I agree. So the new citation for today, I'll order that continued for an initial appearance to August 21st, right?
Sure, yes.
Okay. And if you could try to talk to Mr. Hammis between now and then so that the parties can update me as to what all's going on with all of his stuff, I'd appreciate it.
Understood, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, then. Any cases that I have not called this evening, I will order the defendants found guilty by default. By way of penalty, I will order forfeitures in the amounts shown on the citations. And there are several where they've already paid ahead of time. Unless the city has some other position on any of that.
No, Your Honor, no objection.
Okay. Does that do it?
That's it.
Okay. We're in recess.
Excellent.
Your Honor, isn't there a magic word for the cameras?
Oh, we're adjourned.
Adjourned.
Sure.
Just want to make sure.
Yeah.